Hello and welcome to TB3 Sports Talk. It was a big week in Tampa Bay sports. The Lightning are in a heated playoff race. The Rays had a magical opening day. The Bucks, maybe they're making a big move, opening some cap space, but we're going to talk about all of it. Episode 79 starting out. I'm Colby. I'm here with Joel. I'm here with Will. How are we feeling about Tampa Bay sports this week?
You know, I'm feeling pretty good. There's something magical about opening day, and the Rays are here. They're back. They're playing, and it makes me feel so good. You know, I haven't gone to a game yet. I know you guys haven't. Going to ask some questions about it. Maybe the fans listening at home would like to know what it's like to see a game at the Sty. I won't call it Steinbrenner. Calling it the Sty.
Come on, he was a great guy for the Tampa Bay.
I hate the Yankees.
GSF.
Anything?
Can we call it GSF?
It's the Sty.
The Sty is like that's
the eye.
Yeah,
because the pitching's dirty there, guys. The pitching is dirty.
Comment down below maybe a better nickname for George Steinbrenner Field.
I just don't want to call it Steinbrenner.
I mean, you can go classic. It used to be called Legends Field.
That's like I don't know. That like makes me hate the Yankees more. Like, dude, you're calling your own spring training field the Legends Field. Come on now. Thank you, Yankees, for letting us use it. We put it on their board. We put it on the stadium.
It is, yeah. It reminds me of how they got B.J. Upton's number retired out there.
I
see Josh Lowe too. You know, he's still playing. He's already got his number.
B.J. Upton's out there. B.J. Upton's so humble for allowing someone to wear their number after they were retired his jersey.
For real.
If you guys don't know what we're talking about, get on Instagram. Stop touching so much grass and get on Instagram. Anyways, the Rays were outside, but we're going to go indoors. We're going to go to the team that is in a heated playoff race first. It's going to get a little chilly in there because it's icy. We're talking about the Tampa Bay Lightning. The Tampa Bay Lightning are in a heated Atlantic Division race. It is a 3-horse race. It is the Maple Leafs in first place. It is the Lightning. As of right now, we are in the middle of a game, and you guys know, if you guys are longtime listeners, you know how the Lightning do when TB3 records on their day. The Lightning are second.
You know we're cursed, guys.
We're a little cursed. And the Panthers are third. A 3-horse race. And it seems like all of these teams just keep winning. And that includes the Lightning. The Lightning, you know, they're on a cheeky little 4-game winning streak right now. We didn't do any Lightning, but we're going to talk about 3 games. The first game, so the Lightning beat Pittsburgh 6-1 last week. We're not talking about that one. We're going to talk about this next game, a thumping of the Utah Hockey Club. The first Lightning victory over the Utah Hockey Club in franchise history was an 8-0 thumping. A lot of accolades and milestones reached in this one. Shout out Ryan McDonough playing his 1,000th career game. You know, shout out Ryan.
1,000 too many.
Yeah, I love Ryan McDonough. He also is the 8th player in NHL history to record 2,000 shot blocks. Wow. So you guys can stop slandering Ryan McDonough.
I've never slandered Ryan McDonough in my life.
That's what he just slandered him.
You guys.
No. Right there.
Sometimes you gotta know when it's time to hang up the skates.
What the heck? He's been playing great.
He's been playing okay.
All right.
I still have my beef with them. I love them, but I don't know.
Anyways, whatever. I disagree. We don't claim his Ryan McDonough opinion.
Maybe I'm the only one, but it's just a personal feeling I have.
Then on Saturday, the Lightning began a back-to-back showdown against the New York Islanders, a team on the brink of elimination, needing about every win they can get to get into the playoffs. The Lightning would play them at home at Amalie Arena and win 5-3. Very interesting game. We'll get into that. And then they would go back on the road. Where is it? Long Island they play still now?
Yeah.
Still at Long Island? Okay, I knew they moved, but I don't know if they moved locations, just stadiums. The Lightning would go on the road and beat the Islanders 4-1 this past Tuesday, and that's the 3 games we're going to talk about. You might get some breaking news on a Lightning score during the show, but we're going to talk about 1 Utah game, 2 Islanders games. What stuck out to you guys?
I think, starting fast and starting hot. That was really the storyline for at least the first 2 games. Last one was kind of a battle, but the Lightning were able to power through. I think, you look at the Utah game, I don't know how much more perfect you can get in an 8-0 shellacking. Mm-hmm. Everybody was scoring, just putting constant pressure, ruining Mikhail Sergachev's return.
Oh, we love to see that.
Arena.
Can you guys believe how many Mikhail Sergachev defenders there are? I put him in an Instagram post, the other day. Like, yes, unfortunately, I was a Mikhail Sergachev, believer, and it's like we all thought he was the next Victor Hedman. Not we all, but that was what he was portrayed to be. And he was not the next Victor Hedman. He was, once McDonough left and he had to carry more role, I thought he was more of a liability than he was a help. And these people are coming at me because they love him, and I'm like, what's going on?
Yeah, I just think the thing is that maybe he didn't live up to expectations, which are valid, completely valid. I think it's who you associate him with, because if I'm familiar with the Post, you got the likes of Jameis Winston,
Jeff Scott.
I think Vernon Hargreaves may have
not the same Post, but the same idea.
Yeah. So I think people kind of associated him with the group of people that were in there, and it's like, well, Sergachev wasn't like a bust. Maybe he wasn't as great as we thought he would be, but he still gave it his all. He still showed up to the rink. He's still part of some championship squads there with the Tampa Bay Lightning. So I think that's where they kind of attacked you.
For my money, Mikhail Sergachev is one of the most overrated Lightning players ever. But again, he did give us his all. He had some good moments. Not going to beef with him too hard. But going back to the Utah game, because it was his return.
Wait, let me just add. Part of the reason why people were had so much hope in Sergachev is because we traded. I can't find
Jonathan Drouin.
Yeah, Jonathan Drouin. Like he looked good when he was first with the Lightning. So that was supposed to be like a great for great kind of trade. And we know Jonathan Drouin's career did not go the way he hoped it would have.
Both those guys. I think you look back. I think the Lightning won that trade.
It was a wash for sure. And Jonathan Drouin came back like 3 or 4 years later.
Yeah. It'll be interesting. But going back to the Utah game, that was a game full of accolades. We already mentioned Ryan McDonough, 1,000 career games. In the Pittsburgh game, got to mention this. Nikita Kucherov surpassed 100 points on the season. He is sneakily, I think he's up. He's right there neck and neck with Nathan McKinnon in points lead in the NHL. If he doesn't get the Hart this year, I'm going to be pissed. He deserved it last year. He should get it this year. And by surpassing 100 points, Nikita Kucherov made it. That was his 3rd season in a row, surpassing 100 points, and his 5th season total in his career, surpassing 100 points. Nikita Kucherov is only the 21st player in NHL history to have 5 100-point seasons. Also in that Utah game, Brayden Point scored his 300th goal. Andrei Vasilevsky got his 40th career shutout. And shout out the little guy, Darren Radish, his career high with 34 points. So a very, very accolade-filled game. A perfect game like Will mentioned. I don't know if there's much more to talk about. Maybe we want to go forward to New York.
Yeah, maybe they could have gotten 10. I think it's the only thing they could have done.
They got the touchdown and the 2-point conversion. But the first Islander games in Amalie Arena, I thought this was a fascinating game, and I thought this kind of showed that, this is something we mentioned, how the Lightning kind of go through spurts of, when they get quality chances, are they putting the puck in the back of the net? And I thought this game was a display of how lethal the Lightning can be when they're putting the puck in the net, because it felt like every chance the Lightning got, they were capitalizing, and they needed this because to me, in this first, New York game, I thought the Lightning got criminally outplayed. I really did. The Lightning had a really good first period. They would jump up 3-0, but in the second and third period, I thought the Islanders were the better team, and only because of that cushion the Lightning got, and a second period goal. Like the Lightning got that second period goal. It was a beautiful goal, some great passing, and that put them up 4-0. To finish that, pretty much lone, really, really quality opportunity in the second period is such a backbreaker for the Islanders. And, we went on and saw that the Islanders would score 3 unanswered goals in the third period. For me, the takeaway from that game was, when Cooch is shooting the puck, when Brayden Point is involved on the ice, it is the Lightning are very, very good at putting the puck in the back of the net when they have quality chances, and you're going to need that from a Stanley Cup caliber team.
Yeah, I think, quality chances are everything, and I think we've seen some of these games, in recent memory where they've put up a lot of shots, and, when you look at the box score at the end of the game, well, hey, they outshot them, so, why didn't they win, or what happened here? But, it all comes down to quality shots, quality opportunities, quality scoring chances, and I think that's where the Lightning were able to capitalize. It doesn't really matter about how many shots you put up on a goalie. It matters, the quality of them. And I think, too, going back to my point as well, I still think it's, going off to a hot start, getting the 3-0 lead, because you look at, they kind of played bad in that third period, gave up some goals. They made it a tight game. It wasn't, thankfully, an empty netter, secured the win for us.
One off the post for New York that would have tied it too in that third period.
Mm-hmm.
So by the skin of their teeth, they staved off that comeback.
But when you build a lead, that's something. We're not coming. Talking about this game like, oh, they blew it. They gave up 3 goals. No, they had a lead and they're able to secure it. And even when a team came back, had a bit of a final push, they had a built up lead to where they're able to just hold on. So
yeah, maximizing those opportunities and those chances and putting the puck in the net was so critical in that game. I completely agree. Another thing, shout out Jonas Johansson. I thought he let in a couple softies in the third period, but in the first 2 periods, he was fantastic. He ended up having 35 saves on 38 shot attempts. The Lightning were outshot 38-24, and for a backup goalie to keep him in the game, to keep the lead intact, was very, very impressive. Johansson made some great saves, especially in that second period. So you got to give a lot of credit to Jonas. Again, I love, this was a game, if I'm not mistaken, Nikita Kucherov comes out 2 minutes in. Beautiful shot off the outside post. I mean, just beautiful. And I love, how involved he's been, recently. He's been shooting. He's been getting people involved. He's been not only setting up the plays, but finishing off the plays. Love what I've saw from Cooch in the last, stretch of games.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Anything else? Any concern, lingering or lasting concern from that third period by the Islanders?
I don't think so.
Just our defense. I think I've said it countless times. I don't know how many more times I can say it, but our defense concerns me a little bit.
A little bit. They've been tightening up just a bit.
A little better.
A little bit. I think. Yanni Gourde, his scrap has helped so much. Mm-hmm. I think. We'll get to it because we're going forward, and one of those deadline acquisitions. Yep, there we go. I almost said accusations. Oliver Bjorkstrand got his 20th goal in the season. That is now 7 current players on the Lightning that have 20 goals on this season. That is impressive as they come. I think it's the first time, I'm pretty sure, in franchise history the Lightning have had 7 20-goal scorers on the season. Very impressive. The Lightning do allow a shorthanded goal, which always sucks in this game, to Bo Horvat, but then they dominate the second and third period. But I have really, really enjoyed, what Yanni Gourde and Oliver Bjorkstrand have brought to this team. I think Yanni Gourde, there was a play in one of these games where he's just scrapping, fighting in the front of the net, and he gets a beautiful pass over, and it leads to a goal. And I think, this game, Oliver Bjorkstrand had one of the best deflections I've seen all season, and for that goal he got in the first period. So these guys have really, I think, first week, you're kind of wanting, Yanni Gourde and Oliver Bjorkstrand to come out and have 3 goals in 3 games to start. Bjorkstrand had that game winner against Buffalo when he first came over, so we were kind of very excited. And then he kind of had a goal spell for, I would say, probably 5 to 7 games. But last week, this 4-game stretch they've been on, they both have been really, really good. Yanni Gourde, he's doing things that are not in the stat sheet. Bjorkstrand has been doing things not in the stat sheet and stuff in the stat sheet. So I've been really impressed with the trade deadline acquisitions. Yeah,
well, I think, Yanni Gourde's getting up there in age. He's not going to be the same type of player we saw during the Stanley Cup runs, but I think, example of that is even the game tonight I was watching before we started the podcast here, and, getting a breakaway, causing a penalty to happen, being gritty, attacking the net, stuff like that you said, doesn't necessarily show up on the stat sheet, but he's just setting the team up for success. That's why you love Yanni Gourde.
Absolutely. I think it's looking like this one's going to be chalked up to an L for the Lightning tonight.
Well, we're filming. It's okay. It doesn't count.
It doesn't
really count.
Exactly. Don't give up till the end, man. We got the puck.
I don't know.
Oh, man, that was close.
Are you
watching it?
Of course I'm watching it.
Can you get some play-by-play?
10 seconds, 7 seconds. Puck's in the offensive zone. Shot goes. One last shot. That's covered. Game over.
Lightning
had a puck got cleanly to the net, though. The goalie was
that
wide
could have
open.
been like a electric podcast moment if they had tied it right there.
It was close.
It was close.
It was very close.
So, yeah,
not even sad.
Not even sad. But
I'm I'm heartbroken actually. Like we are so close to getting the number 1 seat, and that just put a serious dagger in it.
That's a great transition because I think that's what we need to talk about. The Tampa Bay Lightning. They are in a 3-horse race. They are in a 3-horse race with the Toronto Maple Leafs and the Florida Panthers. Right now, game just ended. The Toronto Maple Leafs are in first place. They have 96 games played. And I think now with this game finishing, the Lightning have the same amount of games played as the Maple Leafs. I could be wrong.
You mean 96
Correct.
points?
Yes, I am sorry. 96 points. I apologize. You're right. Good correction. That would have been very confusing for the viewers and for you. 96 points for the Maple Leafs, 93 points for the Lightning, 92 points for the Panthers. Everyone is at the same amount of games played. It's a tight race. 75 games, meaning there's 7 games remaining for each team. I looked into the schedule, but if you look at the Lightning schedule going forward, it is the easiest schedule so far, or going forward for all 3 of these teams. The Lightning get to play the Sabres twice. They play them once on the road and once at home. They get to play the Red Wings, who are likely not going to be a playoff team. Play the Rangers, who are not a playoff team, most likely. Maybe the Rangers might sneak in there. I don't even know what the wild card looks like at this point.
They might be a wild card.
They might be. They're okay. They're right in there. They're right. It's Montreal or New York. So those will be big games for the Rangers. But the Rangers have not been a consistent team so far for this season. But so the Lightning, they play, but they also play the Maple Leafs at home. They play the Maple Leafs and Panthers both at home. Those are both games remaining against those teams.
Those are huge.
Those are huge games.
You're setting yourself up for great success.
Yeah, then you look ahead to the Maple Leafs. I clicked on the wrong thing. I clicked on the wrong thing again. Bear with me, guys. I'm so sorry. The Maple Leafs get the Blue Jackets, a non-playoff team. Then the Maple Leafs,
they're tough.
They are tough.
They beat somebody important the other day.
There we go. I like that optimism, guys. And then the Maple Leafs beat the Panthers last night, and they play them again next Tuesday in Sunrise, Florida. Toronto can really wrap it up. They're going on the Florida trip. They have Panthers and Lightning back to back. If they're able to win both those games, it's probably going to be their division to win. If they aren't, it'll open up the doors for us. Maple Leafs play the Canadiens. We mentioned Rangers, Canadiens are in a playoff battle. Maple Leafs play the Hurricanes. Again, maybe the Hurricanes don't have much to play for, but that is a playoff team. The Maple Leafs do play the Sabres, then they do play the Red Wings. So it's looking like the Lightning are going to have to, close the gap on the Maple Leafs in the next week or so. And you look at the Panthers, they are right in the mix as well. Obviously, I know the Panthers will play the Lightning and they will play the Maple Leafs again. Panthers also play the Senators, the team the Lightning just lost to today, a team who was in the playoff chase. So the big games for them. The Red Wings, the Panthers play. The Panthers play the Red Wings twice, so that'll be interesting. Could go both ways. The Red Wings, like the Blue Jackets, have been scrappy this year. The Panthers also play the Sabres and the Rangers and the Lightning. So I guess going off these 7 games, I would probably say the Panthers probably have the easiest schedule remaining. But it's very close. A lot of these 3 teams are playing the same teams in a different order. Each team has a game against each other. So each team has 2 games against the other teams. I don't know if that made sense. I hope it did. But guys, where do you guys see this playoff race, ending up? How important is this playoff race for the Lightning?
Yeah, well, I think it's extremely important because I think as of right now, the Lightning would be playing the Panthers first round in the playoffs, and that's always going to be tough. It's a bitter rivalry. You know how it went last year, and I just think, I'd much rather go into the playoffs, get that number 1 spot in the Atlantic so you can play somebody like Ottawa, somebody like Montreal, depending on how it finishes. And I think, there's stuff you can't control. You can't control how Toronto does or the Panthers and all the other games we talked about what they're playing. But you can control how you play against them. Mm-hmm. And you're lucky enough to where you get a game against each of them. Those are when it matters.
At home.
Win those games. Get those points that you can take right away from them. And let's get this first seed.
Yeah, again, at this point, the Lightning are down 3 points. They're going to need... but again, you have that game against Toronto where if you win that game, they're not going to win that night because you're beating them. So you're automatically gaining 2 points on them. So, again, I do think the Lightning are still very much in this. Like Will mentioned, it is so imperative to note that, the way the NHL playoff format goes is the Lightning have to play a divisional opponent in the first round. And,
if they're second or third.
Yeah, exactly. And it sucks. It really does suck, but the Lightning will just have to play one of these juggernauts if they're not able to get that 1 seed. Mm-hmm. Can the Lightning beat the Maple Leafs or the Panthers? Yes, in the first round they absolutely can. But you have a lot more faith in the Lightning taking care of Ottawa, resting up, maybe getting them in a gentleman's sweep than you do in a gnashing of the teeth of a Battle of Florida, or having to go play Toronto, a team that you've played would have been now 3 times in the first round in 4 years. Stuff like that. It's going to be either of those series against Toronto or Florida will maybe be the hardest playoff series you play the whole time if you go to the Stanley Cup.
Exactly, yeah. And, you get that number 1 seed. Well, they're going to end up playing each other. You're already going to have to face one less team. That's going to be difficult. And I just think, on a personal level, I'm sick of playing them. I want to play somebody different.
Yeah.
Every year we get in the playoffs, or 3rd or 2nd seed in the Atlantic, and we just get one of them. I want somebody different. Give me something different to watch.
And the Lightning are really, really good against the Metro Division. I saw their record against Metro Division opponents, and I was blown away. I was like, these dudes are balling out against the Metro. So it really does seem to be the opponents that we play, like our division opponents, are the ones we struggle with the most. And I think, haven't we lost every game against the Maple Leafs so far?
I think we might have won 1.
I don't know. I can actually find
a lot of games.
So Joel, what is your thoughts on this playoff race?
So it would be ideal to be 1. The spot I don't want to be right now is 3, because if you're 3, you have to play the Panthers more than likely, and Panthers have the home field advantage at that point.
Yeah,
but I'm okay. I'm okay with playing the Panthers, and I think it might be easy to play the Panthers now rather than later on in the playoffs. Like, you want to take them out early, because I'm looking at it right now. Matthew Tkachuk is injured. Dmitry Kulyov's injured. Nico Sturm's injured. And as well, Aaron Ekblad is suspended for 20 games.
You are right. So, and I think that would mean he has to miss the first round.
He misses, I think, a couple games of the first round.
So that is a good
point. You can get an early lead
That's
at home because you're number 2. You're looking pretty good.
Yeah.
So it's let me be cocky. I'll say it's almost a given that the Panthers are going to go out first round. So better the Lightning to take care of them than get beat up by the Maple Leafs.
I guess that
not the Maple Leafs, sorry, the Senators.
So yeah, again, it is important. Even if the Lightning can't get the 1 seed, you want to get the 2 seed to get home ice. That has been crucial. Lightning lost every single game on the road last year in the playoffs. They lost in 5. The only game they won was at home, game 4. And I think the year before the Maple Leaf series was, I think it was flipped. I think we won better on the road than we did at home. But if we're playing Florida, that we're going to have a pretty good atmosphere at home, because Florida fans are not the ones like Toronto fans. Toronto fans are like the Yankees fans of NHL. If you guys don't know, they're going to travel pretty well. They are
like, as much as I think Panthers fans don't exist and there's no rivalry there, they probably will travel more this year than in the past.
That is probably true.
They want a cup,
That is true, but Lightning fans travel pretty good down to Sunrise.
It'll probably be a good 65-35 every night, I'd say.
Ooh, I don't know. I think you could see that in Sunrise. I think it would probably be closer to a 75-25 in Amalie Arena.
Yeah, we'll see.
That's just my opinion. But, again, that is a good point with the injuries and suspensions. It might be, again, you want to get at least the 1 or 2. You want to get the home ice. But you really would much rather get the 1 seed and have Toronto and Florida beat up on each other.
That'd be great.
And then if you get the 1 seed, you get the easier the first round advantage. And then maybe, again, you would have to get rid of, again, I think Toronto or Florida are the biggest threats. I'm not really moved by what Washington's doing. Carolina, they just have a culture of losing.
I'm never scared of Carolina.
Yeah, I'm never scared of Carolina. I think Florida and Toronto are your biggest threats right now. They've both beaten you in the last 2 years in the first round. If you can get one of them gone without having to play them, that's huge.
Yeah.
And maybe you get the 2 seed and the Senators beat the Maple Leafs in the first round. Who knows?
Could happen.
That would be ideal. But again, if you get the 1 seed, you secure that you will only have to play one of those 2 divisional opponents that you've struggled with in recent years. Mm-hmm. So yeah, if you're on YouTube, if you're on Spotify, I just learned you can comment on Spotify now. I didn't even know that. But comment down below. Where do you think the Lightning will? Where do we think the Lightning will end up before we move on?
Solid 2.
I think 2 is the answer as well. I think they'll end up 2 in the division.
Not that they can't do it, though, but
this game hurts them a lot tonight, losing to Ottawa.
Yeah, and just I feel like we're cursed.
Yeah.
Everything we want usually doesn't work out, so.
While we're on the topic of hockey, how do you guys feel about the Ovechkin goal chase? Right now he's only 3 away.
I think it's electric. I did see a like a skit, and it was like Wayne Gretzky talking about, Ovechkin almost passing him in goals, and it was like, oh, that's cool. He must be close to me in assists too, and it was like, oh, but I thought that was funny. But yeah, I think it's cool. It's cool when players get the history. Ovechkin's been around a long time. Like I'm surprised he's still playing. To be honest
He's
with you,
so great.
Yeah, no, he is, but he's still playing really well. I know you can kind of like cherry pick where your scores are on the power play and stuff like that, but he's still playing really well. He definitely is still producing at a pretty high level. It's cool that he has a good team. Like it'd be cool for him to like pass in the playoffs, like that is, which maybe it doesn't count.
I don't think
It doesn't count. You're right. Never mind. But it's cool that they have a good team again. Like I feel like we're missing out on some. Again, I don't like the Penguins, but I feel like we are missing out on some Sidney Crosby swan song moments because the Penguins have been so bad. So it's cool that the Capitals are pretty good. But I think it's cool. I'm all about it.
Yeah, I hate a lot of things. I hate a lot of teams. I hate a lot of players that aren't, from the Tampa Bay area. I think if anybody were to break it, though, I'm pretty happy about Ovechkin.
Man, I guess I'm the odd man out.
I don't know.
I'm so mad. I didn't think he was going to get to it. Give me Gretzky every day.
I just think
he's still a much better player, Gretzky.
Yeah, Gretzky, nobody's going to top the great one. Like you said, he brought up his assists, goals together. I mean, he was just on another level.
Do you guys think it's more impressive that Gretzky did it with multiple teams, or do you think it's more charming that Ovechkin's been on one team his whole career?
I think I like the multiple team feature because it kind of, there's a lot more of a pile of people that have been affected by Gretzky's career.
Mm-hmm. And it's not like he wanted to be on other teams either.
Yeah, no, I know. I'm just saying, which makes it more impressive? Like the goal is more impressive, being on the same team the whole time, being on different teams. It doesn't really matter.
It's more the fans, for Washington fans.
Yeah,
that he gets that they've seen his whole career and stuff.
No, I think it's definitely cooler that he's been on that Ovechkin's been on the same team.
Mm-hmm.
But I do think it's harder to. I don't know. I guess you switch teams even if in your same organization, but it's harder to find that role in different teams. And the fact that he did kind of like you said, affected so many different people with going to those different teams. It's interesting. I don't know.
It's a great one.
Yeah. By the time we record next week, he'll probably have passed it.
Probably.
Yeah. But no, I just think with him, at least it's him. Could be a lot of other people I hate.
I wish it was Crosby. I love Crosby so much.
See, I'd rather have him get it over Crosby. I hate
Crosby is really boring.
Oh, I love
Crosby. He is the personality of cardboard.
He's like a tall glass of milk.
Before we go, Joel, where do you think the Lightning will end up in the standings?
Probably second.
Second. I think second is the consensus. And that's about it. So we're going to look ahead, maybe predict some Lightning games like we said. Lose to the Senators tonight. But before we will predict all three. I don't know. Lightning play the Maple Leafs on next Wednesday, and if we record, it might be over for them. So
no.
Sorry.
Maybe we watch that one before we record.
Yeah, will that change the curse?
Yeah, maybe.
I think so.
Okay, all right.
Usually
we'll see.
we start filming.
Yeah, we can watch.
And then we're
that.
paying attention, la di da, and then it's oh great, they lost.
Yeah, we could do that.
But maybe we watch it.
Yeah. Maybe it'll change the curse.
Wait for people to clear out too.
Yeah. Maybe it works. We'll see.
Nobody interrupts the podcast when we're filming. You know how much I love that when people walk in or.
There was a moment where, never mind. But yeah, Saturday the Lightning go to Buffalo to play the Sabres. New York road trip. Then on Monday, they play the Rangers in Madison Square Garden. And then on Wednesday, they play the Maple Leafs in Amalie Arena. That's 3 games. Joel, I'll go to you. What do you think the record will be?
I'm going to go 2-1, and I'll throw out a shocker. I'm going to say we lose to Buffalo because we're beating.
That's the most Lightning thing ever to do.
Yeah,
they would lose to Buffalo.
The exact same thing.
I think we're kind of wallowing in our tears a little bit right now with Ottawa. It's going to carry over into Saturday.
I completely agree. 2-1, they're going to lose to Buffalo.
Sometimes you got to believe. And I believe they're going to go 3-0.
I love it.
All right.
And I really think they are. I think this loss, they've been playing such good hockey that they will rebound from this loss with three straight wins. I think they're going to handle Buffalo because Buffalo has been some tough games for them. If you remember, I think they got spanked by Buffalo. Hold up, I'll go look. They got
wasn't the
oh no, never mind. Only one game against Buffalo, and that was the crazy game
the
where
6-5
the 6-5 one. Yeah, I thought they played Buffalo another time. I must have been wrong. Anyways, 3-0. More Oliver Bjorkstrand goals is what I'm going to say.
Give me Gonçalves.
Oh, I love Gage Gonçalves.
He's been scoring.
He has been scoring.
Been solid. Yeah, I think he'll get a goal.
Yes, I agree.
Just to make Will mad, Ryan McDonough's going to get a goal this week, and you're going to eat your words on a silver plate.
Who's a player you love? Because Colby's is Sarah.
I mean, back in the day, it was always Andre Palat. Hate that guy.
Oh, you do hate him.
I hate that guy more than anybody.
That's been
You
said on the
do hate
podcast.
him. I forgot about
the
that.
ugliest man walking this earth.
Yeah, my guy's McDonough, but it's like just this version. Like in yesteryear, it wasn't like. I just feel like this season.
I feel like
it's just
he has
kind of
improved
like-
our defense exponentially this year.
See, I think he's made it worse. I think he's been a liability. I don't know. Maybe that's just me. Guys.
He's so ugly. He's like that one guy from Top Gun Maverick ugly.
Miles Teller.
Yeah.
That's funny.
Rooster? What's his name on there?
Rooster. Yeah, Tampa Bay Lightning. Wednesday in Amel Arena. That's a big game. If you haven't got your tickets, they might be sold out already, but get your tickets. That's a big game to have to go watch, and it'd be pretty fun if you guys got out there and watched some Lightning hockey. But the Lightning are not the only team playing right now. And before we get into the games, I want to get into the elephant in the room, or the elephant in the field, if you will. The outdoors Rays home game experience. If you guys did not know, last Friday, opening day, the Rays that sucked, man. The Rays got the day pushed back. I had to watch everyone else play their opening day game except for the Rays. I was feeling like I was touching the glass, like really sad.
I was really struggling on Thursday. I was enjoying all the MLB games, but it's like I want nothing more than to watch the Rays.
I completely
right now,
agree,
do
bro.
it.
I was a little sad about it, but
They do that a lot, though. Like, I feel like Rays and Lightning both never get, like, opening day.
oh, I disagree. I think that this year the Rays were pushed back because of the stadium renovation and fixing stuff. The Lightning a couple times have had like the first game of the season.
True, maybe after, like, the Cup wins.
Yeah,
Bucks
yeah.
Cowboys.
Oh, dude.
Opening Thursday.
That was a good game,
That was a
right?
good game,
That was a
yeah.
good game. Anyways. So, Tampa Bay, outdoors, George Steinbrenner Field, or the Sty, if we want to call it that.
Sty.
The Sty. I'm not going to call it that.
Never.
GSF, but
nothing affiliated with the Yankees.
well, it
None.
says
At
thank
least
you,
you can
Yankees
do is
on
say
this one.
thank you.
Not thankful. I'm not.
But me and Joel had the pleasure of being able to correspond and go to Monday's Rays versus Pirates game. It was a 6-1 win, and we were in George Steinbrenner Field. So, Joel, I'll ask you this. What was the biggest thing you noticed going to your first Rays outdoor home game?
There was just something different in the air. Not only was the air fresh because it was outdoors, but the crowd was different. Like, I feel like when you go to a game at Tropicana Field, the median age of the crowd is probably like 60 years old, maybe 55. Here, it was like everybody was like 25 to 40. Like, everybody was young. People were vibrant. There was a good conversation going on around us. The food was awesome. You could hear the crack of the bat and all that different kind of stuff. And not only that, my drive home, even living in Clearwater to Tampa, I think it was under like 25 minutes.
It was quick. We
It was-
breezed.
Where'd you guys take Courtney Campbell?
It was a breathtaking
Hillsborough?
experience.
Okay.
Yeah, it was, dude. I'm completely right there with you, Joel. I was shocked. I kind of noticed this a little bit watching the game on TV. Like, you know, on Friday, you hear the Pete Fairbanks chants when he's in the ninth inning. You hear the sell the team chants on Friday. It's awesome.
Yeah,
and I
yeah.
think the demographic of the people that have gone to this games is what struck me the most with George Steinbrenner Field. I think, you know, like you said, I think you made this quote, when we were driving, but it's like that's the first time the seats have been filled and the handicap seats have not been filled. And it really just goes to show that the median age was probably like 28 years old. There were so many more, young adults, people our age, younger couples, 30s, 40s, people that, are into baseball. Like, when we hear the whole, Rays don't have fans thing, I think we've always kind of not agreed with that because we've been online, we've been Rays fans online on Instagram or just around in public. Now we run a Rays page and we see all these passionate Rays fans, and I think it really just showed that, the passionate Rays fans, the younger Rays fans, they just live in Tampa. Yeah. They live in Tampa, and being able to go to this ballpark in Tampa, easier drive, 7 p.m. starts, easier to get to after work, all that stuff, created a much better atmosphere. It created fans that were into the game. We got fans, chanting for the person to give Yandy Diaz his back because it went to the thing. You would never hear that at the Trop. You would never. And it's not only, obviously, we don't know how many tickets it would sell because the maximum is 10,500. It's sold out every game this weekend on that homestand, but we don't know what it's going to end up. But we do know the atmosphere is much better. I really do think the atmosphere was much better at George Steinbrenner Field. I had a great time. I thought the vibes outside, being outdoor, was great. Again, it just baseball feels better outdoors. It was a beautiful night when we were there. Obviously when it gets steamy and hot, it will be a little worse. You got to have a roof at some extent. But I just think the demographic of who was at this Rays game, struck me deep. It was pretty eye-opening for me.
Yeah, and the staff was so pleasant.
Yeah.
Like I talked to somebody at a lemonade stand for like 10 minutes about the Rays. Like you wouldn't have got that at the Trop. Like it's just a more rushed experience.
Well, everyone's spaced out, so you can't have those conversations. You're in a section and there's no one around. You can't have a conversation with random people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they did a little bit of a minor renovation to the ballpark as well. Like they said, there was essentially like a whole new concourse just for the Rays this season.
Well, anything you noticed on TV or just in general from what you've been seeing?
I love the sellouts. I love what you guys are selling. I think I don't know if you realize it. Like I think the picture you took from the left field side, I've never been to the Stye. Like I've never been there, obviously.
And yet you
never
call it by its first name.
Never saw a Tampa Tarpons game. Never went to a Yankees spring training game there. I didn't realize how beautiful of a view you get from the left field side, seeing Ray J. I mean that gives me goosebumps and chills.
It was awesome. It was cool. Sorry.
I guess just to be a Debbie Downer, like I just think, everything sounds good. It all seems fine and dandy. But my thing is still, and it's going to be for the entire season, is sellouts are great, but it's a 10,000 seat stadium at the end of the day. 10,000. Rays were hitting 11,000 plenty of times in the Trop last season. Mm-hmm. I want to say the average attendance was even way above
probably
that.
like 13, I think.
Yeah, so I think if the whole argument has always been it's just location. There's all these fans that want to come, and I agree with you. I think there's plenty of Rays fans. I think it's baloney that we have a little fan base that people don't care about the team. But I just think you got to show it. Every single game should be selling out. I want to see those fans on a Tuesday night against the White Sox. I want to see fans there when they're playing the Angels. Not just because it's the opening day weekend and the hype's there and Paul Skeens is in town. I want to see it every single week. Because if you can't fill out a 10,000 seat stadium every single game in Tampa, then I think it just poses a bigger question of what's the problem. And the answer is just an owner that's not willing to invest in the ball club and make it a competitive team, not just for the regular season or the playoffs, but for a World Series title. So I think it's great. I've loved what I've seen, but it has to be the whole season. It has to be. And I maybe that's too tough, but I think if you cannot sell out 81 home games and 10,045 seat stadium, then that's ridiculous. Ridiculous.
You should sell out the vast majority, at least. I know there might
every
be
single one.
Yeah, obviously, I'm not saying, but if one gets to 9-5, we're not gonna bat our eyes. Again, it should be close.
Why aren't fans showing up then? That's the whole thing. There's all these people who have more access to it.
If there's a July day game and like a Wednesday. Like again, it might be a little. I know. But I think your point is valid. Like again, there's plenty of times where we would see 10,000 people at the Trop and be like, that's a terrible day of attendance, and I agree. And I think that obviously it helps to have, more people crowded, but I really do think that this atmosphere, it was louder than the Trop. The opening day was louder than most days at the Trop. Maybe then, some playoff games, but I think the atmosphere, and then obviously we went on a Monday night, the atmosphere for a Monday night game, I know it's opening weekend. Against the Pirates, so not a big team, was much better than the atmosphere at the Trop. And I think that, again, it has the intimate ballpark obviously plays a role. The small nature of it obviously plays a role. But I do think the demographic and just the demographic and the people that actually show up to the ballpark and, this might be a crazy one, but going to the ballpark this weekend made me have more faith that there's going to be the Rays fans are going to hold their own against Yankees and Red Sox fans when they're in town. I know. Sorry, bro. I know that sounds crazy, but I just think the young Rays fans are legit, and I think if they're there, they're gonna want to go see a Yankees game. They're gonna want to go show out and combat some Yankees fans with cheers and stuff in the crowd. I don't know. I went into the season with the expectation of when the Yankees come there, it's gonna be 10,000 Yankees fans. And it might still be that, but I have more faith now that it won't be than I did in the end of this. It might be.
It's going to be horrible.
It might be.
Because at least I'm glad the Trop, they'd open up the upper deck, or they'd have just enough seats to where it would kind of even out, or at least it wouldn't be such a complete flip-flop.
We face ID people and make sure they don't have Yankees gear on.
Smile. This guy's a New Yorker. Get him out.
look at the dead look in his eyes. He's a New Yorker.
Maybe this leads, not to get political here, not to go on a political tangent, but the Chinese, they got that social credit system, and you go to a grocery store, they know everything about you, they got your ID pulled up. I think that's how it should be with the MLB ballpark app. You go and buy tickets. You go and buy tickets. It says, okay, you're a Rays fan, right? Boop, scans your tickets, you buy them. You can no longer resell them to Yankees fans. You can't resell them. You can't give them away. They're yours. And you can talk about freedom and whatnot, but I just hate the Yankees showing up because they're bandwagons. They moved to Florida from New York back in the 70s.
If it's
they
so
didn't
good,
want to assimilate. They didn't want to assimilate to the Floridian culture. They didn't want to root for the Rays when they became a team. I'm sorry, no, you don't deserve to go to the game. You live in Tampa. You, for however many years, you become a Tampa sports fan. That's just what you do. And in any city, you move to Cincinnati. You move to Buffalo. You root for those teams. If you live there for a long time, you don't just grow up and raise your kids and they're going to be fans of another team. No, that's your hometown. That's where you live. And I'd say probably at least 2.5 to 5 years. If you're there for that period of time or longer, I'm sorry, you have to start switching over.
You at least have to raise yourself and your kids to not be obnoxious at the game and be hateful towards the fans who are literally rooting for the hometown team.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Yeah, you can have a soft spot for some of those teams, for your teams, but you root for the teams. I cannot stand, some of these generation. I grew up with them. I know you guys have too, where it's you've lived here your whole life and you
it's
hate
crazy.
Tampa teams.
Yeah, it's crazy.
It's the worst.
It is the worst. Yeah.
And the thing is too is this grinds my gears because I just think, what if we had a better owner? If we spent some money, if something went different,
if we were in Tampa 10 years ago,
if something went different in 2008 or 2020, I bet you everything would change. Everything would change. All the kids I grew up with who weren't Bucks fans, they're all Bucks fans now. And the Lightning have been good for, basically my whole life.
Yeah.
They weren't good. I wasn't really sentient or conscious when they weren't good. You know what I'm saying? And all my friends, they've always been Lightning fans or they've been Bucks fans, but if the Rays, man, they just start winning something, it's gonna all change.
All right. Hey, I agree. And yeah, just
that was a long tangent.
Hey, can I quote you saying that the MLB ballpark should be like the Chinese? And that would be a legendary quote. Follow us on Instagram and see if Will allowed it.
The Chinese got some stuff right.
Instagram TB3 Sports Talk. You might see the quote about Will. I think it would be a banger, honestly.
Yeah, the MLB ballpark app should be like the Chinese social credit system, and then under Will on the ballpark app not allowing opposing fans to purchase Rays tickets.
Oh, dude, I'm so glad. Yeah, it's gonna be a banger. Anyways,
Will, we go back though. It's not going to be a sellout every night, and it's because, remember, it's going to get hotter, and more importantly than that, the tickets I don't think at any point are going to get cheaper.
I hope they do.
They're not, but I think, that's
the problem though. There's not going to be any $15 tickets for somebody to just go casually get. So if it's a failure, if it's not well attended, it's because of the ticket prices. Don't blame it on the fans.
But here's the thing, though. Here's the thing with that, and that's a good point. I'm not disagreeing with you. I'm not disagreeing that would happen. But I'm just saying we've been fed this lie. In my opinion, we've been fed this lie, and a lot of people I feel like that, where the only problem has been the location, which I don't think is true. I think there's maybe a little truth to it, maybe. But I think the ultimate truth about it is you look at some of these stadiums, and I've been to some of them. We've all been to different ones. Locations are terrible. I don't know if you've been to Atlanta.
Yeah.
And I think you've been to Atlanta.
Atlanta was good, though.
That location is
not
terrible.
Great, bro.
That location is absolutely horrible. But what do the Braves do? They buy a bunch of stars, they develop talent, they compete for World Series, and they win them. And people pack that stadium. And I truly believe in my heart that if the Rays were up there in spending, they were competing. They're not trading away your favorite player every other year. They're not penny pinching. They're not getting guys off the street to be your everyday catcher. No offense, Ben Roarvet, we love you. I'm just saying, moves like that. Alex Jackson. Name them. You're one of the best teams in 2021, and the only move you make is a dinosaur. A dinosaur.
I don't think the Braves are a fair analogy for that at all, because they built that stadium in the suburbs where the fans are, and their complex there, a lot of the taxes from that go to paying players in the stadium.
Yeah, but you can say, well, we live in downtown Atlanta, and we got to go all the way however far north to get there. Why isn't it built in the heart of the city where
they built it where the heart of the fans are?
Yeah, well, also another thing to kind of build off Will's point is, the Atlanta Braves became the team of the South because, they were the only team in the vicinity. And also, correct me if I'm wrong, but the 90s, they were great for years upon years. And that's kind of what built those lifetime fans is they won World Series, if I'm correct.
Choir on that.
Yeah.
But as far as the fans go, they built where the fans were, and that's why they attended. Skyrocketed.
But probably why there's so many fans in that suburb area or so many fans that are willing to make the commute is they've grown up on generations of being Braves fans because those 90s teams were so good. So it's a little bit of both.
You had your heroes homegrown. They played there forever.
It's much easier. We had this discussion with freaking Randy last year. It's much easier to build up a fan base if they have players that they can put on their back.
Absolutely.
Exactly. And the Rays, again, they've just never had that.
That's something I noticed a lot at the game on Tampa, or the other day in Tampa, was how many of those jerseys were blank.
Yeah, that's the best. That's the best race.
I refuse to get a name one because you're just going to get traded. I got a blank one; it'll last me forever.
Wander Franco ruined that for us.
Exactly. I got a Wander Franco shirt sitting in my drawer at my parents' house.
Yeah,
never will be worn again. Got a Randy one too.
No one's safe.
Yeah,
you got to get like a Longoria one.
You can't build fans like that. You won't. And I think if it was different, if we got those guys, if they stayed, Longoria, Crawford, Pena, all the greats that the Rays have had on this team, if they were for lifers, you just think of how many more fans you could build in this 2000s period, 21st century. And that's why I think at the end of the day, if we're sitting here, another universe, Rays spend money, the Rays keep these guys, you have a zillion numbers retired on the wall, you got a couple pennants, I think you could, put it on Honeymoon Island. You put the stadium on Honeymoon Island, people would show up.
Oh, that would suck. I'd hate that.
That would be terrible. But people want to see winners. People crave winners. And I think
Curly Road would be a nightmare.
It would be an absolute nightmare. That Frenchies would do numbers though.
There would be like 6 of them.
Frenchies.
It'd be in the chop.
Yeah, you got Madison Ave down there too. Dave Portnoy reviewed.
There you go.
Corvo Bianco, I think it's what it's called. My sisters work there.
Nice.
Pizza place.
All right.
I mean, your ultimately your prayer is that Stu Sternberg sells.
He sells.
And I heard this week when all the sell chants were going on, he gave like a creepy smirk.
No, he was egging them on.
Yeah, that made me mad.
So like,
I didn't like.
I mean, as far as facial.
Well, I saw
facial implications go. Sale might not be as close as we hope.
I also saw. Yeah, but he's just a butthole. Like, he could be doing that regardless.
Probably.
I also saw that the MLB owners and Rob Manfred are still fed up with him. They are still very frustrated with him. So
yeah, you gotta, respect to Roger Goodell, man. He's not a lot of people don't like him, but when he told Schneider to sell the Commanders, he did.
Yeah.
He put his foot down. He had some guts. And I think Manfred's got to do the same.
I think so too.
It'll come. It's just going to take longer than we would have hoped.
And that's unfortunate.
And that's sad.
But like if it's not during the season, like it went on too long, and we're all going to be sad.
But yeah, I just think. Can I just wrap up my point real quick too? And I just think the prime example of this is all this yapping I've been doing. Is I just think, again, you look at the Bucks stadium location is fine, but like I said before. Again, we all know kids who weren't Bucks fans who are now. We all know how they struggle with attendance. Games would get blacked out on TV when we were kids. Nobody wanted to come. Nobody was fans. But you did one thing. You bring in a superstar. You spend money. And now, I mean, I think the Bucks have one of the strongest fan bases in the NFL. And people are going to the games. And, even at the transition with Brady, every game I've gone to has been sold out. Those playoff games we went to, were electric. And that's what I think. It all comes down to winning, spending money.
I'll change the term. I'll change the term winning to good ownership.
Good ownership, yeah.
If we're good ownership's where I'll lie on this conversation.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because
ownership.
Yep. So, just to get back on the field. At George Steinbrenner Field, the Sty, if you will. The Rays opened up their season with a 3-game series against the Colorado Rockies on opening day. This was a magical one. First outdoor Rays home game, but it didn't start off very good. The Rockies would go up 2-0. Kyle Friedland was fantastic. A 6-inning, 2-hit shutout, 7 strikeouts, but after 67 pitches, Bud Black decided to pull Kyle Friedland, and that proved to be a dumb decision, as in the 7th inning, the Rays would come back and tie it. Jonathan Aranda, a sacrifice fly. I thought that ball was gone, but the wind knocked it down. And then Jose Caballero with a big RBI single, 2-2. And then in the bottom of the 9th inning, the first pitch he sees coming in for an injured Josh Lowe. Cameron Misner into the short porch. Walk-off home run. First walk-off. First guy to ever do something like that. Rays win. And then on Saturday, man, this one was a frustrating one. Zach Littell was on the bump, and he was fantastic. Ryan Pepio pitched that last game, did a very solid job. 6 innings, 1 earned run. And in this game, a lot of the same. Zach Littell, 6 innings, 1 earned run, 7 strikeouts. Really, really good stuff from Littell. But the Rays couldn't really score this game. The Rockies go up 1-0, then 2-0 on some opportune hits for the Rockies. The Rays had 14 balls they hit in that game. Over 100 miles per hour, only 7 of them become hits. Some great defensive plays, some unlucky hits, some bad situational hitting. The Rays only mustered up 1 run. Taylor Walls, of all people, got the RBI in this game, but the Rockies will hold on, win this one 2-1, and set up a rubber match on Sunday. And the Sunday rubber match went the Rays' way. It started off strong with woof, woof, bark, bark. Brandon Lau, a 2-run home run, puts the Rays up 2-0. But the Rockies would fight back against Taj Bradley, who had another good start for a Rays starting pitcher. Tell me you're not hearing the trend right now. The Rockies would fight back and tie the game in the 6th inning. It would be 2-2. But then in the bottom of the 6th, the Rays would go bananas. A junior Cameron RBI single would start at 3-2, and then Jose Caballero with a beautiful, beautiful bunt. I love bunts. I love small ball. The Rays would also score another run on an error, make it 5-2. Ben Rortvedt would add an RBI to make it 6-2. Mickey Moniak would get a home run off Kevin Kelly to cut the deficit to 6-4, but that would not matter. Pete Fairbanks would come in, get his first save of the year, and the Rays would win the series at home against the Colorado Rockies.
Yeah, What a series. Love the sweep, but I'm glad we get series wins. Just keep it up. I was going to get on here, preparing for the show. I'm going to get on here. I was going to start ranting about how here we are again. New season, Rays can't hit. We're struggling in games. But maybe the Rockies starting pitching is onto something because I know they get swept by Philly, but their starters are going off today. Mm-hmm. Antonio Senzatella pitches another gem against the Phillies. Wow. So it's not just us. If you were wondering if you were feeling like they may be struggling to get hits during that Rockies series, don't worry, the Phillies struggled too.
Yeah, I think this series was all about the Rays starting pitching. I mean, just fantastic. You can go down the board, 6 innings for all of them. 1 earned run for Ryan Pepio. We can look at the Ks.
Throw up the stats.
We'll throw up six.
I think they only gave up 1 walk this whole series.
I was going to get to that. Absolutely. And it was from Ryan Pepio. Ryan Pepio, 6 innings, 1 earned run, 8 strikeouts. Then you go down to Zach Littell. He has 6 innings, 1 earned run, and 7 strikeouts. And then you cap it off with Taj Bradley. A lot of us were very interested in the Taj Bradley start. His splitter looked fantastic. He went 6 innings, 2 earned runs, 7 strikeouts. I mean, no mistakes, no home runs given up by Rays starting pitching. That is such a huge key. I think the lack of walks, like you said, 1 walk. The Rays went 4 games without walking a batter from the last 2 games of the Rockies series and the first 2 games of the Pirates series. 4 games without walking a batter. Starting pitching was fantastic. Bullpen was solid. Who caught your eye from this series mostly?
Yeah, I agree. I think definitely starting pitching. I think Pep started off great, had a phenomenal day. I feel terrible for Zach Littell, man.
Yeah.
How many times now is it since he's taken over the starter role? Are we just not going to give him some run support? I feel like it's just about every starter, one of the most consistent pitchers we have, night in, night out, just putting up solid numbers, solid innings of work, and we just can't seem to help him out. I think, how good was Cameron Meisner getting that walk-off home run? First pitch crushing, as they say, a hero moment. I think Mangum coming up. Wow, that was awesome to see, getting a boatload of hits.
Yeah. Oh, the mayor. I love the mayor.
Yeah, Mayor Stark Vegas.
Yeah.
I like that.
I love it. You know who I want to talk about? It's a guy that he's been slandered on the show by all 3 of us probably, but we can't slander him because he's been hitting the ball. And I'm talking about Jonathan Aranda. Oh, dude, what a series and what a first 6 games for Jonathan Aranda. He's hitting .417 right now, and he has 4 doubles already. 4 doubles in 6 games.
4 doubles, yeah, 5 hits.
Great at bats.
A 1.250 OPS, leads the league in hard hit balls percentage. I mean, this guy is all over the place.
I mean, dude.
Take it. I mean, look, you know what? I have to give you credit because you've been saying, I believe in him. It's going to, this year is going to be the year. And I think we're starting to see it. And I'm really excited to see how he does this season.
I really just saw it in his at-bats last year. He had a really good September. I thought he had good at-bats before he went up and down, got injured. I thought he had good spring training. I just really felt it with Jonathan Aranda. He's always been very highly regarded in the Rays system. And, I really think he's an X factor. And I think he has been an X factor for this Rays team. And I think he will continue to be an X factor for this Rays team. I think he is one of, if not the most important players in the Rays lineup.
Mm-hmm.
I'll take the negative side of the coin. Curtis Mead, man, 0 for 6 in this series, and then 0 for 10 on the season. I was ready to believe, man. I said you're gonna get 25 home runs.
Yeah, it's
you fooled me,
man.
I think he had to have been on a short leash. I really think so because he had a great spring, right? Then it's all right, you're leading off for us. Opening day, you're leading off. Goes 0 for 5 that day. Yeah. And then it was
0 for 4 with 2 strikeouts.
0 for 4 is we're never seeing you again, buddy. We're never seeing you again the rest of the
season. Jimenez, where you at? Yeah.
Yeah. I know, Joel, dude. I was thinking about that. It's just tough.
It sucks, man. It really does. It's just, it's unfortunate. It's very unfortunate. I still think he can turn around. But it seems like a lot of the same problems he had last year when he was up in the big leagues are the problems he's having. When he hits the ball, it's not really going very hard. He's struggling against. He's supposed to be the lefty killer, and he 0 for 4 against Kyle, in a game that Kyle Freeland pitched. He got some other opportunities. Like he's just not hitting the ball hard, too many strikeouts, stuff like that. It's just I thought putting on the weight was going to be a key thing for him, and it was in spring training, but it has not been so far in the real games. Who was I just? Oh, let's have the Yandy Diaz discussion, right? So Yandy Diaz, a couple things. Maybe we should save it for the Pirates series because it came up. So anything else on this Rockies series? Starting pitch, Kevin Kelly, my boy gave up a home run. I was distraught. I was like, come on, Braves bullpen is coming through some early
Hunter
kinks.
Biggie's looking
Very
great.
good.
Can we pull up his stats, please? I want to hear him.
Jamie, okay, I'll do it after because he had a big outing in the Pittsburgh.
He did.
Okay, so Pittsburgh Pirates. We're still in George Steinbrenner Field. Me and Joel were at this game. We just had this whole discussion. We were at this game Monday night. Shane Baz on the bump. Oh, man, Shane Baz.
What a gem you guys got to see.
Oh, sorry. This was Drew Rasmussen. Drew Rasmussen still very, very good. 5 innings pitched, 2 hits, 0 earned runs. Probably could have gone longer, but he's still 3 major elbow surgeries for Drew Rasmussen. He's back starting a game. That is incredible. In this game, it started off in the 4th inning, a massive inning for the Rays in the 4th. Chris Morel, good to see him get the RBI single with the runners in scoring position. Then Cameron Meisner, that dude just keeps hitting. He has been really, really good. 2-0 Rays. And then the mayor, Mr. Mayor, Jake Mangum, a 2 RBI single, makes it 4-0 Rays. Jose Caballero would add a RBI double in the 6th inning, 5-0 Rays. Chris Paul home run for the Pirates to make it 5-1, and then Yandy Diaz would make it 6-1 with a sac fly. The Rays win this first game 6-1. In the second game, this was the Shane Baz game, and this was a doozy. Shane Baz, 6 innings pitched, 7 hits, 0 walks, 10 strikeouts, just dominating stuff. The curveball. Wow. The curveball was gross. He
gets us the free taco himself.
Wow.
Don't even have to wait. It's all on Baz.
Hey, confirmed. I heard them talking about it on the radio.
They did.
Yeah. Me and Joel were a little concerned.
So the issue is they have the 10 strikeouts on the outfield wall, or the outfield wall, but they're not covering the Ks with each strikeout.
Yeah. The Rays fans, we need to start covering Ks at George Steinbrenner.
Yeah, we gotta make a committee or something.
We have to get something done.
What do you mean by covering Ks?
So they got 10 Ks, 10 white Ks, and they're just there.
But there's nothing to show that
you can't see the progress.
Yes.
Yeah, you gotta get. That's something we should.
That's usually like the cheerleader girls are dropping the Ks over it, but we don't have that yet.
The TB3 corner.
Could be.
Yeah,
we could put a logo. All right. Anyways,
I'll work for free doing that. That's
between
job.
the 3 of us, we could probably make it out to 81 games.
Yeah.
So your turn. I don't want to go. It's your turn. You got to go.
You'll never catch me saying I don't want to go to a Rays game unless they stink. Anyways, Jake Mangum in this game with Shane Baz pitched to Jim. A 2 RBI double. The mayor just keeps hitting. And then Cameron Meisner, M in the outfield. 3-0 Rays in the first. And then Cameron Meisner would get another RBI in the third. 4-0 Rays. And then, woof. Brandon Lau, a 2-run home run. 6-0 Rays. Brandon Lau would also get another RBI to make it 7-0. The Rays got the touchdown and the extra point. No points allowed. Shutout for the Rays pitching staff. Hunter Biggie, that guy. Nope, this was Mason Englert, two shutout innings. Yes, shout out Mason Montgomery, struck out the side, 7-0 Rays. And unfortunately, when you're in a skid like the Pirates were, something that helps you get out of the skid is having the best pitcher in baseball on your team. And the Rays faced the best pitcher in baseball, Mr. Paul Skeens. He would go 7 innings pitched, 3 hits allowed, and 6 strikeouts and 0 earned runs. Ryan Pepiot was on the bump. He had a solid game, 5 innings pitched, 2 earned runs, 5 hits allowed. A dagger O'Neal Cruz home run really sucked. The wind was kind of blowing out. But in this game, I mean, just a frustrating game. The Pirates would go up 2-0, then the Rays would cut into that lead to make it 2-1. Then the Pirates would go up 3-1, then the Rays would cut into that lead to make it 3-2, and then the Pirates would finally go up 4-2. Too much insurance run. Some leaky bullpen appearances for Mr. Manrod and Mr. Uceda, and the Rays would lose this one 4-2 to win the series 2-1.
Yeah, I mean, you always want your team to sweep every game. You want them to go 162-0, but the reality is it ain't going to happen.
The Dodgers might do it.
They're gonna lose eventually.
It's been scaring me a little bit. They've pulled a couple games out of their hat that I've been like, what's going on?
I watched that walk-off game.
Aren't the Padres still undefeated too?
Yeah.
Right? And I saw that they only have like a 5% chance to win the NL West.
Great. They have been very, very
that good, and then it's like, oh, you got the Dodgers in them. But regardless, I mean, you're not gonna win every game. It sucks we lost Paul Skeens, but you still got another series win. Still some stuff to be happy about. I thought we saw a lot more offense. Definitely, kind of kicked off on Sunday, and we saw it, in the next two games. I think our outfielders. I mean, my question to you is Josh Lowe out of a job? Is he? I mean, let's be honest here. Let's talk about it. Is Josh Lowe out of a job? Because you got Meisner looking great. Mangum has come up and looked great, and even Johnny DeLuca had some huge hits in this series. And I just think Josh Lowe's struggling with injuries. That oblique thing can't seem to get right. Mm-hmm. What do the Rays do here?
The more pressing question is, what will the Rays do with Richie Palacios? Because Richie Palacios is, not to say Josh Lowe, it'll be a month. We'll know if Mangum and Misner are legit in a month, or it might be 6 weeks.
That's
but
true.
We will know what they are, if they're legit or not, in 6 weeks. Richie Palacios is on the 10-day IL. I think he's probably looking to come back in a week or two. Do you pull down a Mangum or a Misner with how hot they're hitting, or do you put Richie in AAA? Like, I don't know. Richie's like a legit player on this team. Like, he's something that a lot of us were looking at, as a legit rotational piece that we're looking to take a step forward. But I mean, I don't know. It's interesting. And I mean, I look at Jake Mangum is hitting .533. And Cameron Miser's hitting .357. Cameron Miser has a home run. Mangum has a couple doubles. I mean, it's just they have been fantastic. I mean, the OPS is on them, 976 for Cameron Miser and a 1.230 for Jake Mangum. They've been really good. Jake Mangum's a great story. I mean, the SEC all-time hits leader. He's 29 years old before he makes his debut in major leagues. He was a AAA batting crown champion last year. Great story. I don't know about you guys, but I always resonate with stories like this where Jake Mangum has always produced in every level he's been at. And he's just always been overlooked, probably because of his size, because of his age, stuff like that. And he just keeps producing. And I just love to see a guy like this who scouts kind of overlook because of his size or because of how old he is or because of his bat speed or analytics or whatever it is. I just love to see a guy like that producing. I hope he keeps producing it because I just like when college players who are good in college get the respect they deserve in the pro leagues. Mm-hmm. One of my pet peeves is when we have this great college player and we want to look at this, scrub that barely played, but he's got a long wingspan. You know what I mean? Like it bothers me. So I'm glad to see that for Jake Mangum. But
I think with Richie Palacio, you have to send him down to the minors just to keep his swing fresh.
I think so
if he's in the majors, he's only going to get 2 or 3 at bats a week.
Which I guess I saw something. I don't know. Richie's been able to play a lot of different positions. Like maybe you could send Meade down. And have Brandon Lau play first and Richie play second, something like that.
Or Yandy Diaz play first.
Yeah, maybe like that. That's a good segue. Yandy Diaz. So something that we didn't really mention a lot in the preview show last week is that Yandy Diaz has kind of been transitioning to almost a full-time DH. He can still play that first base position, but obviously he's not playing it very, very many days. And right now, Yandy Diaz is hitting 154 on the season. He's struggling, man. He's struggling. He has, how many strikeouts? He only has 1 strikeout on the season and 4 hits. So that's pretty crazy. He's putting the ball in play, but a lot of soft contact, a lot of choppers on the ground. When Yandy Diaz is struggling, he's not getting the ball in the air. My question to you is, are you guys concerned? I think we've seen a story of this. Rafael Devers being moved to DH and struggling mightily in the Red Sox, situation. Yandy Diaz is going through a similar thing, but it's not the Red Sox, so people aren't talking about it. But are you guys concerned long term for Yandy Diaz? Do you think that Yandy Diaz should move back to first base? Anything like that?
Some guys just aren't built to be a DH. The only guys I can really think of that was built for it is David Ortiz, and I'm sure there's other
Marcelo
ones.
Zuna.
Yeah, but these guys need to play in the field. If they're sitting on the bench that long thinking about their next at bat, they get in their head and it messes them up.
Yeah, it might have something to do with it. It is concerning though because it's just gotta have guys like that step up, and it'll probably be the next segment about like effort and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But it's not a good look, regardless of if he's not giving good effort or not. It's not a good look, especially when I think he's probably the leader of the team. You can argue Brandon Lau, you can argue Pete Fairbanks, but he's up there, and it's not fun to see. It's not fun to see soft grounders.
Yeah, so I agree. I think that you definitely have to give someone a larger sample size as a full-time DH to come to an opinion about them. I think we could easily see guys like Yanni Diaz and Rafael Devers having a AL Player of the Week type week coming up in the next couple weeks. Like they are great players. I think that once they're more adjusted, they're going to do better at that DH position. For me, what Will's mentioning is in the Wednesday game against Paul Skeens, there was a ground ball that Yanni Diaz hit. It was a pretty routine one, but I think it was Adam Frazier. He bobbled it, and Yanni Diaz was not busting out of the box. He was jogging, and he obviously, once he saw the bobble, he picked it up, but he was still out after the bobble and the recover and the throw. If Yanni Diaz was hustling more out of the box, he definitely would have been safe. My opinion on this is I think that I don't think Yanni Diaz is inherently lazy. I don't think he is a locker room cancer. I don't think he's a lazy showboater guy. I think if it was up to him, I think he'd run out almost every single ground ball. But I think the way Yanni Diaz's body is built, he's older. They just signed an extension with him. I think the Rays have told him, hey, it's not worth it for you to be busting out of the box every single time. You can smell infield hits, and maybe you got to run out of the box for those. That was not an infield hit. That was just a bobble on a routine play, stuff like that. In my opinion, I have nothing wrong. I got no problems with it. I think it's being made. I don't think it's a big deal, but I don't know what's your guys' opinion on it.
It's smart when your team's made of glass.
Yeah,
to say don't.
But there's other people that have been done that. Like
I just think it's not a good.
Stanton did it.
Yeah, it's just not a good look.
Mm-hmm.
It's not a good look, and that's kind of where I'll leave it at.
Mm-hmm.
I'm in the same boat. Like, you don't want to lose them, and we've seen time and time again these guys pull quads and whatnot because they ran a little too hard.
So, Will, would you have noticed it if Yanni Diaz was hitting 350 on the season?
Ooh, true.
Is his lack of batting? Do you think it's a worse look because he's not playing well?
Most definitely, it's a worse look. I think, you're struggling when it rains. They say when it rains, it pours, don't they?
Yeah, that's an expression. That's a real one.
Yeah, like I just think that's what it is. But it's still, regardless, it's not a good look, especially who he is. I think
it's fair.
Somebody else, maybe you overlook it depending on how they're hitting. But since Yanni Diaz, the cap.
I get that.
Maybe it's different.
I get that. I'm just Yanni Diaz is one of my favorite players of all time.
Mm-hmm.
Asterisk, but I have no problem with it. I think it's smart by the Rays. I like to see that they're at least taking some steps to keep their players healthy. It seems like they never do that at all.
The trainer doesn't do a good job.
Yeah, no. It sucks. It sucks to see Josh Lowe go on the IL. But again,
same injury.
Just it is. You got to feel for Josh Lowe again. Oblique. Baseball's weird, man. Every day goes by, and I'm like, baseball players are doing things the body should not be doing, and they're like breaking the natural law by playing baseball, and I think the bodies revolt back at them.
Yes, but some of this stuff, man, I'm serious. Like, who's that trainer guy? Like, you got to bring him in for questioning.
Well, it's always like I always have the thought of, Stu Sternberg is paying significantly less money to players than other teams. Is Stu Sternberg and the Rays paying significantly less money to trainers and training staff than other teams?
For sure.
I think that's probably I've looked into this. I can't find it on the internet.
I wish there was like report cards or something that we could see, like how the NFL does it. Because again, I mean, this guy's my ace of spades. I want him in for questioning. I want him captured. Somebody's got to figure out what he's doing. Is it like you said? Is he just not a good trainer, and Stu's being a cheapskate, or does he not care?
Well, I'd be more concerned about like the trainer guy's probably fine, but like he doesn't have enough resources or people.
We got to get him in.
I would love to
get him on the show.
I would love to. The trainer
guy. We
speaks.
just got to hang out around the Buck Stadium and just be like, oh hey.
Our first ever guest on the show.
I swear I saw Gerald McCoy pulling out of the Bucs Stadium when I went to the Rays game.
Really?
In this car. I could be completely wrong, but I swear he was pulling out of Raymond James. Swear. But Yeah, it'd be interesting. I think
Reliving the glory days.
maybe he was doing like a shoot or something.
Yeah, he could have.
He's been around.
Do you think he'd be at $1 place?
Maybe I have no
maybe
idea.
yeah, maybe he's doing like a commercial or something.
Yeah. I mean, we mentioned, and back to the Pirates game. Sorry. Shane Baz, fantastic. Last year, Shane Baz, his pitch usage was four-seam fastball number 1, slider was number 2, and curveball was number 3, and then that changeup he sprinkles in. This year, in this one start, he was throwing his curveball more than he was throwing his slider, and his curveball had fantastic numbers last year, and his curveball was the result, I think, of 6 or 7 strikeouts in this game. So his curveball might be a game changer for Shane Baz. We already mentioned, how good of a second half Shane Baz had. Again, that was at the point of the Rays season where we were all sick of this 500 play. Like, it was hard to really get into and stay with the Rays. Like, we were, but it was definitely like went under the radar because people were just not locked into the Rays season in August and September. But Shane Baz was really, really good. And he showed that in his first start.
Yeah, I completely agree. I loved what he saw. I think, man, it's hard to say who had the best. It probably was him. Though,
I think Shane Baz.
Had the best.
Let's power rank starts, all 5 of them.
All right, we can go. Why don't we just go 1 through 5 each of us?
That's what I'm saying. Yeah. So I'll go.
Yeah.
I think Shane Baz was number 1. I think Zach Littell was number 2. I think that Rasmussen was 3. Taj was 4, and Pepe on opening day was 5.
Yeah, I think Baz 1. I'm gonna go Ras 2.
Fair. He was impressive.
I'm going Ras 2.
The sinker he was throwing, I don't know. I think he's tinkering with his sinker as opposed to a four-seam fastball. The sinker looked great on Monday.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Raz. So yeah, Raz for me is 2. Oh man, because I got soft spots for him. Give me Pep 3 on opening day.
Can't go wrong with these guys.
And 4. I mean, you could put Littell's higher, but it's just the unluckiness of the draw. No run support, gets the L for it, and then Taj Bradley at 5. But none of them were really bad.
No, they were great. I mean,
Okay.
I was like, that really showed how good the rotation can be. Like, seriously, like this, and it doesn't even have their ace in there. But this is a deep and dangerous rotation with great stuff. We've been telling you this. There's a clip on Instagram where we were telling you this could be the best rotation in Rays history, talking about this year's rotation last year. We've been telling you this, and I'm so excited to see it play out. I hope Shane stays healthy or gets healthy and stays healthy so we can see the full frontal attack of this Rays rotation.
All right, I'm going worst to first. I'll go Pepio's Rockies start was 5. Pepio's opening day was 4.
Well, just do 5 and just rank Pep 1.
You can Christmas tree the rest, but all I'm saying is wasn't thrilled with Pepio this week.
Fair. Who had the best start?
Rasmussen.
All right.
We were at.
Respect. All right.
I got 2 things.
Yes.
Number 1, let's just go to 6. Give me 6-man.
I think so too.
I think so too. You cannot.
Give me a 6-man.
I think I'm all about the 6. A lot of teams are doing 6-mans.
Yeah, give it to me. Why? Especially if the trend continues this way. Why stop it?
You can't put Rasmussen and Littell in the bullpen. You can't.
Yeah, why stop it? If they keep it up and they stay healthy, I mean, I think the most Rays thing ever is most likely when McClanahan comes back.
One of them will get
One
hurt.
of them's going to be down anyway, so it's just plug and replace. But if not, I mean, why mess with this?
And you would limit innings in a way where people would be fresher for the end of the season.
It's the double-edged sword of do they need more innings or do they need less innings?
I think the science says less innings, but I do think the old baseball head says more innings. I don't know. It's
tough. It's hard to say.
It's like the gym thing. It's like, is this bro science or actual science? It's like, is this baseball science or actual science? But yeah, anyone that...
Second thing.
Yes, second thing. I forgot you had 2 things.
I think this is just a point. Maybe I kind of spoke about it in the special, but I just think if we just get some decent hitting, this pitching staff can carry us. And that's why I get encouraged about guys like Meisner and Mangum and Aranda, DeLuca. Throw DeLuca in there.
He had some good ABs yesterday again in that Pirates game.
If these guys can just get some hitting together consistently, we're going to win a lot of ball games. It's just mathematically that's going to happen. So... pitching, you already got that. Let's just get the hitting going. And, I mean, this team really could do it. They really could go far. with just how good the starting pitching is.
And you hear that stuff on TV a lot. It's like if you score 4 runs or whatever with like a classic Rays pitching staff, you win like 85% of the
Exactly,
games or
and the
something.
Rays, all the starters have kept you in it. All you need is just to produce some runs, and we'd be undefeated right now.
So, for me, I'm just looking at these games. I think what has impressed me the most about the Rays, lineup is not as much whiff this year as there was last year. Not as many strikeouts.
Yeah.
Only 6 against Paul Skeens. Probably happened because I bet the over on Paul Skeens' strikeouts.
That was genius.
Yeah, but again, he was just getting ground balls. It wasn't really like helping the Rays out. I was kind of hoping like they'd mash off him, but then that didn't work out. But Paul Skeens only 6, 4 in the game before, 10 in the game that we went to. But again, a lot of garbage time innings. You kind of get impatient.
They were still scoring.
Yeah.
Too.
7 on Sunday against the Rockies. Let's go to Saturday game against the Rockies. Only 3 strikeouts. You only scored one run, but only 3 strikeouts. And then opening day, I think we struck out a lot against Friedland. But 9 strikeouts. So again, opponents have already only gotten Kane's 10 strikeouts once against us. So I think putting the ball in play is the first step to hitting with runners in scoring position. I think putting the ball in play will be a much more of a strength for this Rays team with guys like Aranda, Misner, Mangum. Seems to make contact on almost everything. I'd love to see him keep up. Caballero. I don't think we've talked about Caballero. He's been some great at bats, great defense.
77 looks different on him.
Yeah, the best guy to ever wear 77. Get out of here, Luka Doncic. Even the Luka, Morel, Yandy, the contact and the lack of chase has been much better this season, which I think is a huge thing for this team.
Yeah, there's just a quality of at bats you can tell are a lot better, and you hope that leads to some of the guys who are struggling. They're just gonna end up hitting better, get out any ruts at their end, because definitely it's night and day from last year. That's for sure.
I agree. Do we want to preview ahead real quick?
Yeah.
All right.
It's getting hot in here.
So, ooh la la. Anyways, the Rays will go on one of their very few road trips to start this season. They'll play 3 games in Arlington, a place the Rays have struggled, against the Rangers, and then they will go back home to play the Angels for 3 games in George Steinbrenner Field through Tuesday through Thursday. That's 6 games. What are we thinking, guys?
I'm saying we're going 4-2. I think we're going to lose 2 out of 3 to the Rangers. First road series. They don't play well, I feel like, in Arlington. At least in recent memory, they don't play well there. So I think they're going to go 2-1 or 1-2 there, but I think we're going to get our first sweep of the season against the Los Angeles Angels of Anaheim. They're doo-doo buns.
They're 4-2 right now, though.
Yeah, but they played the Cardinals.
Mike Trout hasn't gotten hurt yet.
He almost did. He got plunked. I think
he did.
the very first AB of the season.
That's funny.
He got plunked right in the hand.
Dude, that would have sucked so bad.
I would have kind of laughed.
It would have been like a tearful laugh.
Yeah. You got to laugh through the tears, yeah. Joel?
I'll go 4-2, and I'm going to make a bold prediction. Whatever the longest, take 2 out of 3 streak is in baseball history, we're going to get that.
Whoa, wow. We're going to win series.
And when's the first 4 games?
Hey, we'll just say series wins. We don't have to take 2 out of 3. Series wins might be cleaner.
Okay, because we have a 4-gamer against the Yankees mid.
Oh, yeah. Ooh. Okay.
We're going to go 4-2. We take 2 of 3 in each series.
Wow.
Thus, the 2 out of 3 streak continues.
I like it. For me, I'm going to be a little bit more negative. I think we're going to go 3-3. I think we'll lose the series to the Rangers. I just have nightmares against those guys, and I just don't. I hope to be wrong, but they haunt my dreams. And then I think we'll take 2 out of 3 against the Angels. I don't know if I see us getting a sweep. Mike Trout always seems to play us early and have legacy moments against us early on in the season.
That's true, and then he gets hurt like a week later.
Literally.
I feel like it's in Los Angeles when that happens.
I don't know. I remember him hitting the ball so far in the Trop that I was mesmerized at. I think it was Maton. It was Phil Maton. Yep, it was last year. It was against Phil Maton.
I saw him pitching for the Cardinals, I'm pretty sure.
Wow, that's awesome.
And he was playing the Angels.
Yeah.
I don't think he blew it, but
that's a shocker.
I did see.
It's a fun game to see where former Rays relievers are playing.
Yeah, it's like a little surprise too. It's like, whoa, hey man, how's it going?
What are you doing here?
All right, so that's about it. The Bucks freed up some cap space. Maybe they're gearing for a big move. That's about all the news. Restructure some contracts. Good to see. That's episode 79 of TBT Sports Talk. At home, if you're listening on YouTube, comment down below what you think the Rays, what record the Rays will have next week in those two series. Comment down below where you think the Lightning will end up in the playoff race. Subscribe to our channel on YouTube. Hit the like button on Spotify. Hit the 5 stars. You can comment those things down below on Spotify too. And you can hit the follow button. And please, we got a bunch of content. Follow us on Instagram at TB3 Sports Talk. Follow us on Twitter/X at TB3 Sports Talk. And that's about it. I hope you all guys have a beautiful and blessed night.